What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Welcome to episode number 66 of the Ambitious Vet Show with U.S. Army combat vet, author, and private security operator, Ricoh Danielson. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet, where we believe if you desire more, you have to become more. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine Corps combat veteran turned passionate and driven entrepreneur. On this show, I dive into the trenches with today's top military veteran thought leaders and influencers who know what it takes to not only pay the bills after the military, but really make an impact. You're going to hear great stories, some failures, and even some golden grenades that will empower you to actually on what matters most in your life right now. Are you a veteran that has separated or retired from the military service in the past few years? Do you want to achieve more in your life out of the uniform? Are you frustrated, stuck, and feeling like you have no purpose? Like you can't identify that next challenge that's going to fulfill on you becoming who you really desire most out of the uniform? Well, if this is responding yes to any of these, my marching orders to you is come and apply for the next Ambitious Vet Sprint, where you can discover your strengths, uncover the obstacles that are preventing you from living a life of restored passion, purpose, and clarity for execution on what matters most to you after the uniform comes off. Because guys, here we believe that your glory days are still in front of you, not behind you. Deadline to apply is October 19th, 2019. We go live October 23rd, 2019. We're only accepting 10 ambitious vets in this upcoming Ambitious Vet Sprint. So if this is you, go and apply. I look forward to diving into the trenches with you soon. Well, Ambitious Vet, welcome to another episode of the Ambitious Vet Show. We're happy to have you here. Wanted to take 100% responsibility for not releasing an episode last week. It was a tight deadline, and as you guys probably know, inside the trenches day in and day out, as life gets challenging, sometimes your processes and systems, your habits are exposed. And one thing that we learned from not being able to push out an episode last week is knowing how much bandwidth and time it takes to get some projects done. Just like when we were in the military, wherever you're at in the world listening to this, is we've got to have those objectives and have that properly mapped out to have that preparation needed. And guys, I got to own it. We didn't have that in place last week. I hope that you forgive us, and we're excited to make sure that you guys are getting content consistently that's empowering you to really execute on that next challenge, that next mission that you want to achieve out of the uniform. So thank you for that forgiveness. We're going to actually start batching episodes on one day, so we're making sure that we're giving you guys that consistent content. But guys, I'm excited for this one. Let's switch gears. This one is exciting. We're actually going to be diving into the trenches with Ricoh Danielson. He's a U.S. Army combat veteran and a private security operator. He served overseas in different countries and on different government sponsored campaigns where he obtained the skill set needed to become an entrepreneur. Now, during his entrepreneurship journey of owning a few small businesses, Ricoh wanted to ensure his fellow veterans have a point of reference, kind of like a playbook. This is where he took it as an opportunity to write his books, Battlefield Parenthood and The Rise of the Vetrepreneur, Fortitude and Grit. Ricoh is a graduate of Thomas Jefferson School of Law with a law degree, recipient of Wounded Warrior Scholarship, and graduate of Colorado Tech University, University of Arizona, Vanderbilt University, UCLA, and UOFP. This man is doing a lot, guys, and what I want you specifically to listen for is I want you to listen towards some principles. How this man still is in the trenches every Sunday morning, carrying a 65-pound punching bag, wearing a flak jacket, and learning more through punishment versus pleasure, and how he does that. I want you to also hear how you can actually do more with very little. I think we as veterans that are out there ambitious, seeking that next challenge, sometimes we forget that resourcefulness is what had us be successful in the uniform. He talks about how to do that and uses a great analogy for you to spark new ideas for that. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the trenches with Ricoh Danielson. Let's go get it. Ricoh, are you there, brother?
Absolutely. I'm always here for you.
Come on, man. Right beside me in the trenches. I love it, brother. Welcome to the
Hey,
Ambitious Vet.
thank you, thank you. I know it's been a while. We've been trying to get on this meeting for about a year, almost 2 years, right?
Oh, bro.
So I
Come
loved
on.
it. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and it's amazing to be a part of your project, man. Thank you.
Oh man, I mean, I still remember the conversation that we had like a year ago, where it was like just an hour Zoom call, just diving into like some of the most pressing things that we both were dealing with. And I just
Mhm.
remember like, man, if we just like release this, how much of a difference that would have made for veterans. So I'm excited for them to kind of get some real time engagement with us today.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. That's pretty awesome. I remember that conversation was so unscripted, authentic, and it was just you and I just not necessarily BSing, but we were BSing. I'm like, man, we should definitely record this.
Yeah. Yeah, really awesome stuff. So, brother, go ahead and fill the gaps of that introduction. Let us know about, let us know a little bit more personal, man. Like, what does people not know about you?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So in 2001 to about 2008, I was in the Army, deployed overseas to Iraq, got injured. And then from 2008 to 2014, kind of went through some medical stuff and whatnot. But I actually wound up going back overseas from 2008 to 2014 about 9 times, making my total round trips in Iraq and Afghanistan 9.5 times, a total of 6 years on different government campaigns, anywhere from DOD, DOJ, Department of State, some OGA stuff. Then on top of that, some other foreign government sponsored contracts. And recently went to Jalisco, Mexico to train some of their foreign government police as well. Not only from in combatives and also police, because they got a big foot ahead against them, against the cartels, but also providing some digital forensics. That's my area of specialties, training and whatnot, and trying to help them out. But no matter where I was, I remember you asked me this specific question. Tell people something that they don't know about me.
Yeah.
I love to work out in solitude, and
Mm,
it's for not necessarily because I like to revisit the pain that I was in, and I like to revisit that and understand what I was going through and kind of put it away. But also, I yell a lot whenever I work out, so having a workout partner, and people are like, "Oh my god, what is this barbarian over here just yelling?" I'm like, "No, actually, I'm yelling at myself. I'm a
yeah.
very nice person, everyone." So that's one of the things that I love to work out by myself. There's a ravine or a little canal by my house. Every Sunday morning, you bet your butt that I'll be there dragging a 65-pound punching bag with some ratchet straps with my 45-pound weight vest every Sunday morning like clockwork. You got to pay the rent. You got to pay the dues, man.
Oh man, you're still
Yeah.
paying those deposits too, man. Are
Every
you reaping
every
some
day.
awards or what?
God, I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so. I
Well,
did
let's
finish my first half marathon a couple months ago in Flagstaff, and that was good. That was really good.
nice,
Uh,
brother. I mean, that's awesome for you to just be putting the flak jacket on and carrying heavy bags and stuff like that. I mean, I thought what I did on Sunday mornings was intense, where I go without water, no food, and I hike for like 4 hours out in up in Ramona, California, to break like this weakness out of my body, man. But that's on a whole nother damn level, brother. That is like elevating your performance, elevating your mindset, and I love that. No wonder why you wrote a book on fortitude and grit.
well, I think yours is more about like mental fortitude. Think about it. Like you're
Yeah.
actually starving yourself. You're putting yourself in harsh environments. Something we veterans we're actually very used to. So I love the fact that you're actually revisiting those. Mine, you're right. It's a little bit of a grit, and I think it's more of
Mm.
a gut check. I'm like, all right, man. I talk to myself all the time. I have my little speaker on my chest. I usually play a little bit of Kelly Clarkson or like some Katy Perry. I'm a firework myself, and I just got just got to get to work, man. Just got to do the work, baby.
Get to a war. Oh man,
Absolutely, man.
that's
Love it,
funny.
dude. Love
That's
it.
funny, brother. Let's kind of like get on the court with this interview, man. Let's talk about how long it took you to find traction now of the uniform, and how you actually were able to find traction out of the uniform, man.
Sure. So I'll be very honest with y'all, is that it took me a long time. It took me a lot of bumps and roads, and a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, being broke, not poor. Um, and it took me a lot to get in my groove finally. I actually wound up calculating, I actually had 28 jobs at one point, total, anywhere from selling shoes, selling education for a university, which I didn't believe in, being a bartender, being a bar back, being a bouncer. Being a bouncer was like the staple of all my careers, because that's what you know how to get, how to protect dumb people and just, hey, you're drunk, right this way, stuff like that. But it took me a lot to get away from my time of service and to be of service to people and kind of be a little bit selfish and say, hey, what do I really want to do? And it took me to about, I don't know, after I finished law school, and I was like, okay, I'm going to deep dive into this one area specificity of digital forensics, financial law, and what do I really like? And I started diving into it, and I finally got my foothold. I don't know if it's where my full traction is supposed to be, but I'm going with it at this point because one, I actually like it. So, yeah, like I'm still trying to figure it out, to become completely honest with you, but I'm figuring out with a vote of confidence. I'm like, yep, I'm going to go down this road. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of hard work. It pays very well, I'll be very honest with you, making some really good money. But I realize, I'm like, man, is this where I'm supposed to be? Oh, we'll just figure it out. Let's keep going, man.
Yeah.
So I think to answer that question, I don't think I've ever fully transitioned out of uniform, because that uniform means so much to me of being of service to people. And right now, and also that uniform meant to protect people. So my current duty of my business is to protect and serve, find those digital forensics footprints, find those different things, and also owning the gym as well. And then also rebuying. I'm going to buy back a Marigun because I sold it. And now I'm going to buy it back. And I have something for your viewers if they want to be interested in this. This would be a good treat. Yeah.
Come on, man. That's exciting. Yeah. That's exciting, brother. I mean, it sounds like like a story that's definitely uncommon that comes in here, but like kind of just falling into it and be like, wow, I like this. And then all of a sudden, like you get stability, your debt starts getting paid off, your bills start getting paid, and you're just like, wow, like I feel like I'm actually where I need to be. So, I always like to kind of flip the switch right after we get people excited on this show and kind of dive into what was your biggest failure out of the uniform, and then what did you learn from it?
So I have a lot of failures. I still fail to this day. One of the biggest failures that uncontrollable failure is that the interaction what I had with my son is not enough there, and it's not a lot there. And it kind of chokes me out, but at the same aspect, this is kind of why I became a commissioner for the city of Scottsdale, and also a commissioner for the veteran community in the city of Phoenix. So it's a semi-politician role, right? And to help veterans get the treatment over punishment that they need in veteran court, help them out in veteran court and the families, give them the services that they need, right? Because I knew when I was going through that, I didn't have anything. Nothing was there for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to team up with General Maxim at the local VA here, and we're going to help create this veteran court. We're going to help create these different services so we can help each other out, right? My story is $1 late, $1 short. So, oh well, big deal. You move out, draw fire. But the great thing is that I'm starting to see like certain veteran families get the care that they need, and they can have the reunification. And the service now turns into love. It's a tangible love now. One of the biggest failures that I felt is that I didn't learn from my failures. I was so pissed off at failing. And I was like, why didn't you get it right, Rico? Now you got to go after it. And I would kind of punish myself, and we're like, all right, man, well, guess what? We're going to do 5-hour PT session, And at that point, you just don't like PT anymore, right? You don't like physical training. So I had to change that frame of like, well, now I'm in the information security business, and it's all about failing forward and failing faster. Like hurry up and fail so we know what to fix, so we can get back in the game, back in the fight. And you can't get pissed. That goes to controlling your mindset, right? And being one with self. And that's some of the things that I've learned that I should have learned a long, long time ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got the book right here. I was geeking out with him before we went live, Ambitious Vets. And I was like, man, I still got all the highlights and stuff like that in here because, man, for 6 months, I was carrying this around in my back pocket. It really is like a back pocket playbook that I kind of used for a while, man, because it's tough out in the trenches, man, becoming more out of the uniform. I think anybody that's listening on this podcast or watching us live or on replay, like it's not easy. Anybody that says it's easy is not stretching to become more. So, you said something really high level concept here, and you were talking about staying in with one's self. So how does Ricoh do this on a daily basis?
Everyone, you guys heard it before. I'm not going to say anything new. Everyone knows what to do. It's just a matter of following it, right? You have to love yourself. At the end of the day is, and you loving yourself might be different than me loving myself. The way I love myself is going to the gym and getting after it. That's how I know I love myself. And dragging that 65-pound punching bag through the desert sand. It's unforgiving. But I've made that the way I'm like, this is the way you're paying love to yourself, you know. Um, my girlfriend, she's like, I love myself this much, and she does her own cool little workout, and then she's like, let's go get Korean food or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, this is what we do, right? And I go with that, and you have to have those dichotomies, those equal balances, if you will, and you're just gonna roll with them. So it's a little bit different. So you have to ask yourself, how would you want to love yourself? Like take a step back. If you want to take yourself on a shopping spree, that might take a little bit longer. You might have to save some money or whatever. But how do you really love yourself? How do you want to love yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And me and Maggie, my girlfriend over here, we do the same thing. Is every Sunday I go out in the mountains, she goes to the beach with our dog, and we refuel in different ways. I refuel through pain and suffering. She refuels with breeze, ocean, and chasing the dog around the beach. I mean, it really is breaking yourself out of the strict routines on a weekly basis to kind of just generate new ideas, and you're not so highly focused. I find, man, when I'm not so highly focused, I don't know if you could agree with this, but like better ideas come in. All of a sudden I come back with a new perspective on a problem that I haven't been able to solve all week. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Recently I went to Newport, and I was just on the beach, and I was like, man, just being here doing nothing, right? E dolce far niente, right? The delicacy of doing nothing. I was like, okay, so what's next? And I remember my girlfriend was like, nothing. You just here. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So what do you mean here?
Yeah.
But you just sit there and you enjoy the simplicity of the beach and watch the tides. And at that point, I came back and I'm like, all right, I'm 100%. Let's get back at it now. And of course, me getting back at it hard. Running the hill at 4:45 in the morning, training PT, all that good stuff. And then working just twice as hard as well.
Yeah, I like your drive, man. I love that you are like your brand of fortitude and grit. Like you really are a walking billboard of what you wrote here, man. And what do you see? Just I know you're in Phoenix, but you go out and you speak on multiple states out here nationwide on your subject matter expertise. But when you're in the trenches talking to these veterans, I mean, you interviewed some really high level veteran entrepreneurs in here. Daniel Allwork from Grunt Style.
Brent Ben,
Yeah.
Brent Ben for American Grains.
Yep.
18 Series Nutrition. Those guys are really cool.
Yeah.
And then also Kyle Breyer. He actually wound up passing away last year. So sad to say. That was actually my best friend. And one of the things I always tell people, and this is what something Kyle taught me, right, was even if you're in business, and he was a firefighter and he had a business on the side, right, and he was a really good Marine, good firefighter. And he's just like, don't get lost in who you're supposed to, or don't get lost in who you're supposed to be, but who you want to be, right? And what I notice a lot of veterans, and I love helping veterans out, my fellow veterans, with business stuff, is that, you're not supposed to come out if you want to. You're not supposed to come out of the military. It's not mandated that you come out of the military and start a coffee company and t-shirt company, right? It's already been done. It's proven, right? And I see a lot of veterans like, Ricoh, I'm going to do this. And I go, great, no problem. Call me when you want to sell your business. And then they call me an a-hole. And then 6 months later, like, hey, do you want to buy my business? I'm like, no, I don't. But so just find out what you want to do. And that's one of the things I always tell my fellow veterans, because I struggled with that. And I still kind of do. So I just go with what I like to do, right? And I like digital forensics, I like cybersecurity. That's just my forte. And I love working out. So what do I do is I actually dive into them. I own a gym, part of a gym. I love owning my own forensics firm and digital forensics and cybersecurity. So, getting in there and really, really understanding what I want to do, right? There's going to be a road leading up to the point of what you want to do. And my road was very tough of being a bouncer and all that happy horse crap and doing stuff you don't want to do. So to my fellow veterans, if you want to do a business, if you want to do something cool, hey, do it, right? But just remember, there is competition out there, and it's fierce, and they've been at it a lot longer than you have. So don't think for 1 minute that we as veterans are entitled to anything, right? As a matter of fact, we should have more compassion, because we actually have the better skill set and the more fortitude and the more grit and the know-how to actually win. We just have to put them in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, brother, I love how convicted you are. Even when you talk, I'm just like, yeah, man, yeah, go, Rico, go. And guys, that, I mean, really what we're diving in here is the challenges of what it takes for you to become more out in the trenches now after the uniform comes off. How do you build that human capital, fill those gaps, find out what you're supposed to be doing, and then seeking the understanding that's needed to continue to build your values, some more resources. And as you can hear, Rico has actually delved into deeper understanding on learning his craft. He's been able to actually diversify his funds and buying part of a gym that is a side passion of his, but it sounds like it is one of his core passions as well. But he's been able to diversify and actually build a tremendous amount of financial independence for himself because he's focusing on one thing and not being in this scarce, like, where do I go? Where do I aim? And just finding that one thing. So I love that, brother.
Yeah, actually, if it's gonna make money, it's gonna make sense, or if it makes sense, it makes money, right?
Yeah.
In the part of the gym that I'm work out at, and then also own is, there's a lot of booty boot camps and all this stuff, and all these people want to come in there and have a nice little butt. And great, give the people what they want, give them what they want, right? And my intention was the money will come. Let's just get this thing up and going, make it fun, right? And the problem that I ran into is my ambition for money was so high that I lost focus of giving a good quality. So I actually wound up having to readjust. I think at that time I actually wound up owning a part of a bar too. So I was like, that's got to go because that was kind of toxic. I don't drink anyway, so that's going to go. That doesn't align with what I'm doing here. Let me look at the gym, see what I can do here. Great, no problem. Let's get in the gym and start putting some business plan, actually paying attention, getting in there. You'll be surprised whenever you actually get there where you're supposed to be, like in the facility, doing what you're supposed to do, how people all of a sudden start coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the lesson in that is just to really listen to what people are asking for and making it convenient for them, not for you in your life. That's career, life, and business. If you're in career, figure out what your customer that you're serving wants. If you're in business, same thing. Find out what your customer wants and deliver that. I mean, I could go on and on about that. It could be a whole nother podcast episode, but I really want to dive into what had you write this playbook, The Rise of the Vetrepreneur, Fortitude and Grit. What had you write this?
Yeah. So I've actually owned 6 businesses total, right? The first 4 complete failures. I'll be very honest with you. It was a t-shirt company, then tried a government services company, failed. A video store of some sort, failed. And then there was another customer goods that I just felt, I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like I had no conviction, no passion, and no drive. I just wanted money, right? And in the process, I kept hearing people's smart aleck comments like, hey, there's no reference to being an entrepreneur. And I'm like, I'm glad that you said that. Now I'm going to write one. So now,
Yeah.
and I would read like business books all the time, like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think Rich Good, and they were so, metaphorical, topical, that you're like, okay, what are they trying to say? I said, nobody's really drawn up the damn blueprint here. So what I did was like, hey, here you go, man. To my fellow veterans, I know my audience, number one. Number two, I know what I want to say. Here it is. Here's a tactical exercise, and here's some exercises to go with it. Now let's go back and make it happen, right? And so I kept doing that repeatedly. And at first, I actually wound up being a journal of my fortitude and grit of my journey of my entrepreneurship story. And then I go, you know what? I'm just going to make it a book. And I don't care if I sell $5 or $500,000. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that somebody, a young veteran, a young PFC, or a sergeant major, or a colonel, who's going to go out there and be like, all right, I can use chapter 9. I can use chapter 3. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, brother. I mean, as I was telling you before this, man, I pulled it out of my bookcase this morning as I was kind of funneling through it. And like I said, my favorite chapter is chapter 9. I was referencing, and I was like, wow, even, I know you wrote this like a year ago, and you're doing the second edition now, which you're releasing soon, which I'm excited to announce. But I mean, even today, I read chapter 9, which is, really just being able to do what you can with what you got. And I think a lot of veterans, when they're out of the uniform, they think like, well, what do I do with nothing? I don't have the rank on my collar anymore. I don't have the troops to lead anymore. Stuff like that. So how can we live out that principle in our life right now in the trenches?
So That's a very interesting concept. And the reason I wrote that, it took me back to my place of like building an observation point out of sandbags, literally dirt
Yeah.
in a bag. And then all of a sudden you have a fighting position, right? And then you and your teammate now have to make a sleeping position, right? And then of course you have to drop for the grenade just in case something pops off, right? And
Yeah.
I realized then I was like, if I can make this, I can make literally a fighting position where I have to fight for my life. I could literally do anything,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
one of the social experiments that I actually put myself through was, which is very, very cool, is let's say you don't have a laptop, right? What do you have? Take self inventory, look at it and say, okay, what do I have? And one of the things that everyone has that really nobody pays attention to is you have a Google account, right? And Google offers you free Excel, Word, PowerPoint. And guess what you can do with that? You can make a sales and service a product, right? You can make something out of nothing, literally something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can take your idea, conceptualize it, and put it into words, and you can go out to someone and say, hey, would you like to buy this, this, and this, and use your tangible skill set? Mind you, you've never bought a tool, you haven't bought a product, you haven't bought anything yet. You're just taking you're making something out of nothing, and you can get after it.
Yeah, I love that, man. It
Yeah.
reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. The most dangerous thing in the world is a resourceful idiot. It's by Scott Adams. I mean, and I don't, bro,
That's very
I
true.
don't credit myself of being highly intelligent, but one thing I do credit myself for is if I don't know the answer, I can find it, man. I think if you can just build that intangible right there and connect the dots for people, I think your value goes way up. So I love that, brother. So we have a tradition here, man, where any ambitious vet inside this that comes in inside this show, they drop in 3 golden grenades that could make an immediate impact in an ambitious vet's life, career, or business. If you could drop in 3 golden grenades, what would those be right now?
You have what it takes. Absolutely. Don't ever second guess that. Number one. Number two, um, I don't care what branch of the service you were in, you have the fortitude and grit. You just have to dig it out. You have to dig it deep. Some branches kind of elevate them, more so than others. Some duties, some MOSs already have it right then and there. That's kind of your creating core right there. But some of them where you just have to take a little bit more repetition, put yourself in those environments. You're not unfamiliar with pain, so bring that pain out and make it motivate you, right?
Mm.
And then number three is you can do a lot with a little, and then you don't need those fancy cars. You don't need anything fancy yet. Trust me, you don't need that. Okay, you can live below your means. Save the money that you make. Please save the money that you make. At a bare minimum, take 30% of what you make and put it aside because that's me for taxes, right? And just be cognizant of where your money goes and be a good steward of not only your business but also your money, because the money will come quick and it'll go very quick, but it will come.
Mm. Yeah, love it. Love it. Love that encouragement, brother. So, where can people go and find out more of the second edition of this book? And I know you said that you're gonna offer something special for the ambitious
Sure.
vet tribe here. So,
Sure.
what do you got for us, Rico?
So it's real simple, right? So I'm going to do this real simple. It's going to be like this. If anybody wants to call me, right, and I'll give you my phone number right now for anybody who wants it. It's 480-828-3328. Call me. I don't care who you are. If you're like, hey, I have a problem, I have an issue, comment, concern, whatever, call me. 480-282-3328. It's real simple. If you want to email me, it's rico.danielson@gmail.com. Those are the 2 effective ways to get a hold of me. Text me, call me, whatever, right? If you really want to get on Instagram, I'm kind of iffy on Instagram right now. I think it's a great tool. I just kind of over the BS on it. I just, hey, if you want to hit me on Instagram, by all means, come on down, right? Facebook, I do a lot of ad campaigns on there. LinkedIn, fantastic, hit me up. But I want to offer this to anybody who reaches out to me. I'll send you a free copy of the book, whichever book you want. Rise of Vetrepreneur, Rise of Vetrepreneur 2.0, and Battlefield Parenthood. Whatever you want, you just let me know, and I'll cover the whole cost, including shipping. Okay. Number 3, right? This is the big. I want to do a social experiment here. So I provide the opportunity to buy back. Do you remember the gum and mint line that I had?
Yeah, you were
So
talking about it about a year ago. Yeah.
yeah. So I started up a gum and mint line, right? AmeriGum. It's the most patriotic gum in the world. That's what I went with, right? And so AmeriMint as well. And I wound up selling to somebody. Now the person's like, hey, I think I effed up. I want to sell it back to you. Great, no problem. We made a business deal. I'm buying it back here real soon. And now, what I would like to know is any ambitious veteran out there who wants to partake in this business, you are welcome. There's no hidden agenda. There's no hidden cost, no nothing like that. If you want to partake in this, let me know. We will team up and we will figure out a solution, and we will take this product to market and make it the best patriotic mint and gum in the world.
Sounds pretty awesome. So are you giving them equity of the company, or are they just getting roles? Like, what are they actually getting inside this company?
So if they, let's just say, like if they design something, they come up with a slogan, we will come to an agreement of what they want to be compensated. If you think it's worth $1,000, great, no problem. Let's talk about it.
All right.
We'll do that. If you want to receive points on the back end, if you want to receive 50 cents per packet or something like that, we will figure something out. But I want the veteran community come on in, put their nose to the grindstone and actually see the fruits of their labor. So I invite anybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Ambitious Vet, I mean, that's a great opportunity for someone that has been there, done that, interviewed some of the most top performing veteran entrepreneurs out there, failed over and over again, but more importantly, found out how to win and win big, and now is diversifying his money into other passions. So I will put all those links in the comments below. I'm like thinking right now, Ricoh, I'm just like, well, whenever we release this podcast on Sunday, there's going to be like a Royal Army British soldier that calls you at midnight saying, hey, mate, I want to join the mint business, because our second biggest audience is in UK, man. So I would be careful what you ask for. You might have a passionate Brit reaching out to you soon. So
even better.
Good, man. Good. So I just want to go ahead and acknowledge you, man, for who you are inside this community. Man, I know we've been trying to pull this off for almost a year now. So thank you for being patient with us here. And more importantly, man, thank you for what you're doing to go back and revise this amazing playbook that has gotten me through a lot of stuff. And from what I can tell, my network has gotten a lot of people inside my network through a lot of problems in business as well, brother. And I just wish you nothing but luck and prosperity moving through the trenches, moving forward.
Thanks, man. Of course. Always here for you, man. Always here for you and your community, always.
Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vet. Episode number 66 of the Ambitious Vet Show with Ricoh Danielson. Hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, if you haven't already gone and applied for the Ambitious Vet Sprint, where you can discover your strengths and uncovering the obstacles that are preventing you from living a life of restored passion, purpose, and clarity, so you can execute on that next challenge, the next mission that you hold in your heart right now, go visit vettrainingcoaching.com, get equipped, get the tools and frameworks needed for you to execute on that next challenge, that next mission that matters most in your life right now. Now, if you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed, rate, or reviewed the podcast yet, what are you doing? Go ahead and go get that done right now. We want to be reaching more ambitious vets. We want to be pulling you guys into our online communities on LinkedIn and Facebook and bringing you guys together so we can help continue to expand, connect, and allow you guys to impact after the uniform comes off. Lastly, we already know that you're warrior made, but to become passion driven, you utilize just one golden grenade you heard today, and you're going to find your life being more meaningful. Ambitious Vet, let's go get it.